Hello everybody, this is GamerGar and it is time to play through another 10 in-game days of the Riverlands Farm challenge. Primarily it's a fishing challenge, so let's see what we can achieve this week. We start off by getting a soda machine, because in the previous video we completed all of the Georgia bundles. We also go to Clint to get our still watering can, but we are far from finished with upgrading this. This will be upgraded all the way to Iridium. Reason being, we haven't invested in farming just yet, and we want to fill out the Ginger Island farm with tons of crops. Having an Iridium watering can will make this super easy to do. We're going to get Clint to break open more geoterra. What we're aiming for this week is the key to the source. This is going to give us access to Krobus and all of his lovely wares. It's also going to give us access to another legendary fish. We're also going to go to Robin, and we're going to get Robin to make us another fish pond. Now, we're going to end up with an absolute ton of these by the end of the challenge. You're going to dominate the whole of the Riverlands farm. Because we're in summer, we get a crack at another legendary fish. This one is known as the Crimson Fish. Now look, it pales in comparison to the profits you can make from the legend, but it is the second most profitable fish in the game when it comes to selling, smoking, and when it comes to raw. Now summer has some very profitable fish in general. It's got tuna, it's got super cucumbers, it's got sturgeons, it's got pufferfish, it's got octopus. It's got so many different types of fish and all sell for really good amounts of money, especially the super cucumbers. If you smoke them up, especially the gold star ones, the iridium star ones, if you're really lucky, you can make some serious cash from these. The next day, Gunther finally pays us a visit. We have meet the threshold of donating items and we get the key to the source. We're also going to collect some lovely legend raw. Now, we don't have a preserve bin just yet. We will get that once we get the ginger item and start focus on farming. 10,000 gold from Mr. Key was nice, and now we finally get down to Krobus here, and we're going to spend 20,000 gold on the star drop. At this moment in time, we don't really need vast amounts of money. The big focus right now is getting to Ginger Island. So what we really need now, believe it or not, are battery packs and 200 pieces of hardwood. Now look, I'm going to have the battery packs in a day or two because tomorrow's thunder and lightning, but the hardwood's going to take time. I'm going to get another fish smoker recipe here off Willy. Reason for this is that I can now make as many fish smokers as I have resources to do so. I also purchased all of the super cucumber bait as well. And for the rest of the day, we're just going to do a whole lot of fishing. The tilapia there was a new catch, which was very nice. There's still a lot of stuff we need to get today, including the octopus that we just got there. That was a ferocious catch. It's now time to collect some iron bars. We also had the bat wings as well, so it was time to make some lightning rods. And the more of these you can make, the more profits you're going to bring in, because battery packs, they actually sell for real nice money. Now, we won't really be selling battery packs in this challenge, because it's primarily a fishing challenge, but in general, lightning rods are the way to go. We're now going to go to the secret woods, and we actually go here every single day until we meet the requirements, fixing up Willy's boat. Now, what we really want to be collecting here too are mahogany seeds. We now have the ability to make tree fertilizer because our foraging skill is 7, so we want to get those mahogany seeds planted on the farm, fertilize them up, and in a few days we're going to get way more hardwood back. I also went down to the mines today just to try to get a couple of lava eels. Now, the spawn rate for the lava eels in the regular mines, it's absolutely horrendous. If you want to get tons of lava eels, the volcano dungeon is the place to go. The very top there at the summit, lava eels are much more common. Main reason we came down here was to get some lovely cave jellies. This is the best place to get cave jellies by far. We want cave jellies along with some other bits and bobs to make more fish smokers. We also need hardwood to make fish smokers. So for now, the recipe is enough. Any excess hardwood that we get after we fix up Willy's boat will go towards fish smokers. We also want to max out all of our skills as well as quickly as possible because we really want to delve into the advanced aspects of fishing. And once we open up Ginger Island, we will be aiming to get into Mr. Key's secret walnut room as well as quickly as possible so we can get magic bait. And there's a reason why we want to get all these things done as quickly as possible. But for now, let's just focus on making a little bit more money and increasing our skills bit by bit. We put up a sturgeon today. The first one is going to go straight into the bait maker, and that sturgeon bait is going to be put to great use. Smoking up sturgeons is a great way to get money during the day. I generally switch over to super cucumbers then at night time, but tonight we are going to spend the entirety of it cutting down trees. Now, we sold a ton of fish today. The smoked iridium star sturgeon went for 1,200 gold. The lava eel went for over 3,000, and you can do way better with that once we get the artisan perk from farming. The next day started with the collection of iridium bars. We're not going to sell any of these, of course. They will all be used for tool upgrades. A train also passed through Stardew Valley, so I went up to the bathhouse area to check would I get anything good from the train, but because it was a Georgia train, we're going to get absolutely nothing. Now look, I am a fan of Georgia, but this Georgia train was extremely tight. I went to Clint, I got my gold watering can. We're now going to hand that back in and upgrade it to an iridium watering can. Once that's finished, we'll start upgrading the pickaxe all the way to iridium as well, because sooner rather than later, we're going to be hitting the Ginger Island hard and fast. So we want an iridium pickaxe going in there. To be honest, we want all of our tools to be iridium quality. I had 3 prismatic shards. It was a Thursday. I said, you know what? Let's just swap them in for the magic rock candy. That will be used in the future, along with some other bits and bobs to ensure we get a very successful Skull Cavern run. So we're doing a bit more fishing today on the farm. We picked up a rainbow trout. It's always nice to get coal and other bits and bobs inside those chests, especially gold ores. I am trying to complete the fishing collection, so the wood skip is a step in the right direction for us. For the rest of the night, we're just going to fish up as many super cucumbers as possible. The next day starts in the secret woods. We're just getting our usual daily dose of hardwood. Even if I didn't need hardwood, I'd be coming here anyway, just because the foraging XP is so good. We're then going to pull up a pike, and we got the rare Dorado. It's always nice to get that in the early part of summer instead of the late part, because it can be quite the rare fish sometimes. We're now going to take a nice stroll down to the beach. We're going to pick up all of the bits and bobs that we can here. We're also going to go over to the tide pool area as well to grab all the stuff there. And then we're going to head up to the lake, and we're going to spend the whole day doing huge amounts of fishing. We're then going to go down to the quarry, and we're just going down here to get some resources. We don't have a whole lot of stone right now. We need stone for a few things. We need it for 3 fertilizers. We also need it for fish ponds. We're then going to visit the desert trader. Once we've done collecting all the forageables here, we're going to trade in the diamonds and rubies for some buff boots. We're then going to spend the rest of the night cutting down more trees. We're very close to getting level 8 foraging, but we do want to get level 10 as quickly as possible. All of this wood that we're accumulating will be put to very good use later on in the challenge. For now, we just want to get skid-ups, as many skid-ups as the game is going to give us. If we're still struggling with foraging within the next few in-game weeks, because we're going to get green rain soon, I might consider making an absolute ton of mushroom logs, just to get that foraging up a little bit faster. We now finally get our iridium watering can off Clint today. We're now going to hand in the pickaxe for the chain upgrade all the way to iridium. First, we'll get the gold upgrade. And this is why money is still a little bit important, but not super important, because all of the iridium upgrades cost 25,000 gold. Now we're going to head into the Skull Caverns today, and today is going to be basically a combat orientated run. We don't have our pickaxe, but we do have a lot of bombs. Now, I don't really care about getting down deep. I just want to wipe out enemies so I can get the combat skill up. Combat is level 8 at the moment. It would be nice to get that to level 10 sooner rather than later. We actually are getting fairly close now to maxing out all of our skills, and that will give us access to the Mastery Cave. It would be really nice to get some magic bait to get into Key Secret Walnut Room and have the advanced fishing before we get into fall. So that's the big summer goal right now. All of the enemies in here can drop resources that is going to make life a little bit easier for us on the farm. All of these Omni Geodes can be used to get some warp totems to the desert. We can even break them open if we want to complete all of the museum collections. If you donate a certain amount of items, Gunther will give you a magic rock candy. So it's still worth giving all these items in. You don't actually get a whole lot of combat XP for killing those dinosaurs, and I feel like the game should give you a little bit more than 7, I believe, is all you get for killing them, because they're quite rare to come across, first of all, and secondly, if they hit you with that flamethrower attack, it does a lot of damage. The next day we finally had the green rain, but more importantly, all of our lovely mahogany trees are now fully grown. We are going to cut them all down, get all of that hardwood, and we now have all of the resources needed to fix up Willy's boat. But we're going to spend the rest of the day trying to get as much moss and foraging XP as possible. Today is the best day in the whole game when it comes to getting moss, fibre, foraging XP and other bits and bobs. We visit Clint the next day, we get back our gold pickaxe. We're going to hand that back in straight away and upgrade it to the iridium pickaxe. Our gold is a bit low at the moment, but in all fairness, we have a bait maker and a fish smoker. It's not going to take long to get the gold back up. We will go to Willy's boat. 5 iridium bars, 5 battery packs and 200 pieces of hardwood was the requirement to fix up the boat. Tomorrow we can start going to Ginger Island, collecting all of the golden walnuts and tapping into all of the amazing resources you can get your hands on over there. So today I'm going to run in and out of floor 85 primarily, and I'm going to wipe out enemies. I already tried getting combat up in the Skull Caverns, it was alright. I want to see how effective floor 85 is today. In your own opinion, let me know in the comments, what is the best method to get combat to level 10? Let me know on how you proceed with it. I also got access to the Dwarf here. I actually got the Translations Guide a good while ago, so I just purchased the Book of Power there to minimize bomb damage because I'm a disaster when it comes to hitting myself with bombs. We can now finally go to Ginger Island. This is where things are going to pick up dramatically when it comes to the Fisherman Challenge. That's what we're doing right now. Because over on Ginger Island, you can get up to the top of the volcano, you can get access to the lava eels, but more importantly, once we get into Key's secret walnut room, we're going to get magic bait, we're going to pull up all of the legendary fish, and then that is going to potentially activate the quest to pull up the relatives of all of the legendary fish. And then we can start farming up legend 2s, and you are going to see not hundreds of thousands, but millions of gold coming in every couple of days. Having access to the mastery cave will be a massive boon as well, because it's always nice to put 2 tackles onto the fishing rod instead of 1, so we can go for the trap bobber as the first tackle and the quality bobber for the second, so we're pulling up iridium quality legend 2s. We can then smoke them up, but of course we also want artisan as well, so we're getting 40% more for those smoked goods. So for today, we're just focusing on getting as many golden walnuts as possible. I want to get enough to get the house upgraded today so we can sleep over on Ginger Island. We also need to think about how to get access to Key's secret walnut room as quickly as possible. Thankfully, I know the locations of all of the golden walnuts and what I need to do to grab them. But there's also an RNG factor. For example, how quickly we can get all of the artifacts for Professor Snail. How quickly can we get all of the golden walnuts from those muscle nodes, and how quickly we can get all the golden walnuts from going into the volcano dungeon. Now I end up getting some real cool luck today, especially with the muscle nodes. Because I don't have my pickaxe on me, there's a small handful of golden walnuts I won't be able to get, but I'll be able to get those in a day or two once Clint has my pickaxe fully upgraded. You actually get a golden walnut for beating all of these slimes here, and there's 2 more hidden around this area as well. There's one sneaky one behind that mahogany tree, and there's another one that you can hope from the ground. The great majority of golden walnuts actually outside of the mine to get pawn up the ground. Now there's one golden walnut here blocked by stone and weeds and stuff. Because I didn't have my pickaxe, I had to go over the top a little bit and use some bombs to get at this one. I just thought it was a bit funny because I had to use bombs to literally blow up 2 pieces of stone. I had 16 golden walnuts currently, just going to get 1 more from up there hidden in the corner. Once I get 20, I'll have enough to get the house upgraded. We're now fully dependent on the muscle nodes, and look at that. Can you actually believe that? I got 4 golden walnuts from destroying those muscle nodes. That has never happened to me before. Normally, it takes me ages to get the 5 golden walnuts from the muscle nodes. That was just insane luck. It's 1 more golden walnut from the muscle nodes and we'll be finished with those. There's also 5 golden walnuts we can fish up as well, and that's what we're going to do right now. We get very lucky tonight and I managed to fish up all 5 golden walnuts along with some lionfish. The lionfish is a fish exclusive to Ginger Island. Once we're finished here, we're going to go to Clint the next day. It is finally time to get back our iridium pickaxe. It's 2 tools now fully upgraded to iridium, if we're not including the fishing rod of course. We're now going to give Clint the axe, and that'll be chain upgraded all the way to an iridium axe as well. That will make cutting down trees and getting skill ups with foraging much easier. The volcano dungeon is home to an absolute ton of golden walnuts. You get 5 from combat, you get 5 from mining, you also get 5 from opening up those dwarven caches. They're basically those little crates sometimes the robots pop out of. And I think there's 2 you can get from the treasure chest as well, that makes 17. And there's a couple we can get from the summit as well, so there's a good few we can get in here. The dwarf on level 5 has some very nice things. The ginger ale, the warthog of the Ginger Island, the Book of Power that allows you to get a diamond when you break open a regular geode. Now from the first chest we get our first golden walnut, 1 golden walnut left to get from the chest, and we also get an ostrich egg. That's quite rare. Now we're not going to have an ostrich farm in this challenge, but it was still nice to get it. In the second chest we get a very interesting weapon, the Dragon Tooth Cutlass. This is one of the strongest weapons in the game if it is enchanted correctly. Now it was 150, so we had to skip the pleasantries on the top floor and we had to activate the shortcuts straight away. We can simply nip back now the next day and grab those items including the prismatic shard. Another 10 days done, level 9 combat. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello everybody, this is GamerGar and welcome back to another 10 days of our lovely Stardew Valley Let's Play. This is the Riverlands Challenge. At this moment in time, we are prioritising the collection of golden walnuts and maximising our farming skill as quickly as possible. So we need to max out combat, farming, and of course, foraging. Once they're maxed out, we can get into that lovely mastery cave, get the fishing mastery. We're also going to free Professor Snail and focus on his side quest as quickly as possible. We'll start by doing the survey report, of course, for the starfish and the flowers. The answer is always the same, so once you do it the first time, you can remember what it is going forward. It's a nice easy 2 golden walnuts. Because we have freed Professor Snail and activated that little cutscene, we can now run around Ginger Island and collect all of the artifacts to get way more golden walnuts. But first, we're going to explore more parts of Ginger Island and get as many of the freebie golden walnuts as possible, the non-RNG golden walnuts. We're then going to go back into the volcano dungeon and we are focusing on more golden walnuts here. We're also focusing on combat XP here as well. And if we pick up any sorts of resources going in between the zones, that's also a bonus for us, because copper, iron, gold, they can all be used to make different manner of sprinklers and bombs for future Scout Cavern runs. Now, I done the maths and I don't need to get Robin to level 7 to learn the flute block and the drum block to complete that mermaid side quest to get the 5 golden walnuts. I should have enough to get those once we do some farming, along with the frog evaluation of the melon and the wheat. So we should be safe to get into the walnut room without going down that route. Now, for those of you who are new to this challenge, there's a reason we want to get into that walnut room as quickly as possible. We want to get magic bait. We want to use the magic bait to pull up all of the legendary fish. Once all the legendary fish have been caught, that has a chance to activate a very specific quest inside the walnut room to pull up all of the brothers and sisters of the legendary fish. And we will absolutely abuse that quest then to pull up as many legend 2s as possible to make millions upon millions of gold. Because the main purpose of this challenge is to see how much gold we can make by just sticking to fishing all the time. So we haven't really sold anything else. For example, we haven't sold iridium bars. I've got hundreds of iridium ores back on the main farm. They're just sitting there right now. I have smelted up a few into bars to upgrade tools and to fix up the boat to Ginger Island. That's about it. So Professor Snail's quest is priority number 1 at the moment. And thankfully, I know where every single artifact is, or the best places to go to get those artifacts for our good friend Professor Snail. Once I picked up another golden walnut here from the Gembird puzzle area, I had 20 in total again, so I'm going to use these and fix up the beach. This will unlock another area that we can go to get even more golden walnuts. And the great thing about this is that the pirates were home, so we could take on the dart minigame and get 3 additional golden walnuts tonight, which was going to be a great boost for us. Not only will we get 3 golden walnuts from the dart minigame, but there's also another golden walnut hidden inside this Pirate's Cove down at the bottom right hand corner. But first, let's see if we can score 301 points. The goal here is to try to hit that triple 20 to get a big bunch of 60s and then just try to snipe out the last number 2 that you need. Every time you do the minigame, you have less and less throws, but it's easy enough to do. The next day, we are watering the crops and normally I don't leave farming so late, but at the start of the challenge it was just a big rush on fishing and getting into the Skull Cavern during the festival and getting calico eggs and things like that. So it's only now we're getting around to farming, but also the Riverland Farm, it's not the best farm in the game for putting down crops, and I didn't want to waste huge amounts of time trying to make sprinklers earlier in the game and spending half the day watering up crops. I decided I would upgrade my watering can all the way to iridium and then purchase a few hundred crops, which should get me to level 6. Then we can make sprinklers, and trust me, we have more than enough resources to bang out tons of sprinklers, automate the process, and then go hard on crops to get level 10 farming. That is the tactic. There's a reason why we want level 10 farming. We want artisan, so the smoked fish sell for way more. Robin will make another fishing pond, and we will try to get Robin now to make an absolute ton of these, because when I start to capture all of those lovely Legend 2 fishies, I want to put a huge amount into fishing ponds, just to show you the true value of the fishing pond. I want to show you just how overpowered they can be when you have a farm filled up with these Legend 2 fishing ponds. And if we can get some golden animal crackers later on, that'll be a bonus. So we're shaking down trees today, trying to get golden coconuts. We need Clint to break these open to get some key items. You will get a golden walnut out of the first golden coconut, and then hopefully an artifact for Professor Snail afterwards. Now, I spent a few in-game hours at this god-awful event, and I will admit to you right now, because I'm terrible at this game, I did cheat. I recorded all of these statues lighting up. I then played back the recording and wrote down all of the colours, and that's how I did it. Because I wasn't going to spend a whole day trying to memorise what all the combinations were. So I decided to save myself some time in real life. Now every time we hoe up one of these pieces of ginger, we will actually get foraging XP, which is absolutely great. And the ginger for the most part will respawn every single day. Now not in the same areas, you kind of have to go on a bit of an exploration to find it, but it's going to be some fierce handy XP. I also figured out that you get foraging XP from panning, so I'm going to try something now, maybe in a week or two, to see how good panning can be to rack up foraging XP, especially if you have an iridium pan. So that might be an interesting watch. We finally got to the summit of the volcano. We got a prismatic shard, and we get some extra golden walnuts. We're now going to put down 3 fish smokers and a bait maker. And I'm going to show you how powerful this area can be now in the next day or two when it comes to fishing up lava eels. Lava eels are really common up at the top of the volcano. We're now going to do some fishing down here, just past Professor Snail's tent. We got our very first blue discus, which was nice, and it was a perfect catch. We also pulled up the fossilized spine as well, which we needed for the archaeology quest. And we also got the snake skull. So we're making pretty good progress there. We're now going to spend a good duration of time cutting down trees. Our foraging skill is on 9, so we really just need to grind it out now. Get that to 10 and move on. There's plenty of trees on Ginger Island that we can cut down. Any tree seeds we pick up, we'll plant them over in the quarry. We'll make a huge tree farm over there. We're also going to go back into the volcano dungeon as well to get some resources. Level 9 foraging gives us the rain totem. So we're going to start today by donating some fossilized items to Professor Snail just to get some more golden walnuts. We're then going to take a nice trip up to the top of the volcano, and we are going to do some serious fishing. I had an absolute ton of coal on me. I had lots of trap bobbers made. Trap bobbers are really cheap to make as well. And we had lots of stuff that we could use for energy. I now enchanted my iridium rod, and I got the perfect enchant, preserving. It's really nice, because every time you pull up a fish, there's a chance you won't use up that bait. And because we're using lava eel bait, we really want to save as much of that as possible. Because all of the lava eels we pull up, we want to smoke and we don't want to turn them into bait. But if we have to, then we absolutely will. The lava eel bait will dramatically increase the rate on which we pull up lava eels up at the top of this volcano. Now the lava eel is a very difficult catch. Even with the trap bobber, I actually failed 1 lava eel today. So when it comes to fishing in general, yes, this place is quite powerful when it comes to making money, but you really need your wits about you. Lava eels are not to be underestimated. Now there are things I could take to make life a little bit easier. I could take a buff food to increase my fishing skill, which makes my fishing bar bigger. Of course, when we get the advanced iridium rod, we can put 2 tackles on that. So if we were struggling big time, we could always take out the quality bobber for a second trap bobber. A lot of the tackles in Stardew Valley will stack when you combine them together. Having 2 trap bobbers is a great way, especially if you're fighting Legend 2s. If you find yourself struggling, there's no harm in putting 2 trap bobbers on instead of 1. I know you can make more money from the iridium qualities over the gold, but isn't it better to have a gold star fish rather than having no fish at all? So that's just something to think about as well. Because the fishing bite rates were very quick, having the 3 fish smokers was coming in fierce handy. Now I could probably put it off with 2, but having the 3rd one there served as a really good backup. And fishing 3 lava eels at once was just amazing, because each one is going to sell for over 3,000 gold. I made over 50,000 gold today from fishing up lava eels, and this wasn't even a good day. I have done, way better than this. You could probably get 50 plus in a single day if you put up a tent and you started the next day bang on 6 o'clock, ready for road. You could easily get 50 of them. It's back to Clint now the next day. We're going to upgrade our axe to the final tier, the iridium axe. It was raining on Ginger Island, so the west bird was the emerald bird, so the emerald goes on the western pylon. We also panned up the fossilized tail. Nice. We're getting very close now to completing the Professor Snail archaeology side quest. Thanks to the journal scraps we've been finding, we managed to get another golden walnut just up from Birdie's house, which was nice. Because we had some more golden walnuts on us, I decided to unlock the shop merchant over on Ginger Island. by submitting 10 golden walnuts here. You can get some very nice things from this merchant, including galaxy souls if we trade in radioactive bars. Now that is a little bit of a ways away, but you never know what we can achieve in 1 year on this farm. You can also get pineapple seeds, taro tubers, deluxe retaining soil, lots of nice things to be had inside that shop. I was back in the volcano dungeon again today, and the reason why I'm farming this now on a daily basis is I need some very specific items. I would absolutely love to get my hands on the hot Java ring. Every time you beat an enemy they can drop a coffee or a triple shot espresso. That speed buff, that permanent speed buff more or less, would come in very handy in getting around. It would be nice to get the dragon boots as well for that extra piece of defense. I managed to hoe up a new book of power here. Jack be nimble, Jack be thick. Gives a permanent increase to defense of +1. We're now going to go back to Clint, and we are going to get Clint to process some golden coconuts. The first one will always give you a golden walnut, but what I really wanted today was the final artifact piece, the fossilized skull, but we weren't that lucky today, so it was back to the volcano dungeon to farm up more items. Now that dragon tooth cutlass we're using at the moment, that will become our primary weapon, and we are going to put some serious enchants into that. All of these dragon teeth that we're collecting, they are going to be resources used to enchant our dragon tooth weaponry. I also picked up a dragon tooth club, which was really nice. I will be absolutely putting resources into that as well, so I can swap between using a sword to using a club. The next day, we are going to visit Clint again. We have more golden coconuts, and we got very lucky today. We finally got the fossilized skull. Now, we also got our iridium axe back off Clint as well, so we are going to give Clint a new tool to upgrade. This time, we're going to hand in the copper hoe. That will be upgraded all the way to an iridium hoe. We're also going to visit Marcelo, the book merchant. We're going to purchase a few things here. The first thing we're going to get is Way of the Wind Part 1, which will give us a movement speed buff, and that is permanent. Unfortunately, we didn't have the funds to afford Way of the Wind Part 2. I think we were short by 5,000 gold, but look, we can get it the next time Marcelo opens up. Instead, we'll get the skill book for farming, and we'll also get the Woodcutter's Weekly, which will give us some foraging XP as well, and we'll pick up the price catalogue too. Now, we don't need the price catalogue because we're using the UI Info Suite 2 mod, but I always just pick it up anyway, just for the sake of the collection. Just north of Marcelo here, we can get a prize ticket. It's hidden behind that balloon. We're then going to go back to our regular farm. We're going to cut down all of these mahogany trees, get even more hardwood. The hardwood is going to come in very handy now because we've made our fish smokers, so we can now move on and make other things. But first, let's go back to Ginger Island. Let's donate all of these items. The snake vertebrae are very easy to get now because you just have to mine open rocks, and there's tons of rocks on the farm. There was also hoeing spots all over the place as well to get those. We got back lots of golden walnuts from that, and because the hoe has been upgraded, we're going to use bombs to hoe up the rest of the secret journal scrap golden walnuts. So we will get 10 additional walnuts once those melons fully grow up, because the frog will give us 5 for the melons and 5 for the wheat. And if we complete the gem bird puzzle, we get a few from that too, and that should be enough then to get into the secret walnut room. So we're enchanting the dragon tooth cutlass with dragon teeth at the moment. There is a chance, if we're lucky, we'll get 2 enchants instead of 1. Now, it got a +5 attack there, that's nice. But what I really want was a +5 attack and a +75 crit power together. We got very lucky with the last dragon tooth, and we managed to get just that. It was insane luck, but I'm so happy we got it. If we didn't get it, we would just collect more dragon's teeth, we'd collect more cinder shards, and we'd keep going until we got it. So they're very nice enchants, and that's not even the weapon fully enchanted. We'll put rubies into this now, increasing its base attack damage. Eventually, we'll take the rubies off and we'll put aquamarines on, increasing its crit strike chance. There isn't really much of a point doing that now because we're not spec'd for critical strikes, we're spec'd for base damage instead. I got the super rare mushroom floor here in the volcano dungeon. It's always nice to get this. I think those little magma cap enemies are so cute. I always feel bad when I kill them. But you know what? When they die, they do drop lots of magma caps, and that's a win for me. For the rest of the day, we are going on a tree cutting spree. A train also passed through Stardew Valley, so I ran up to the bathhouse area to check it out. But alas, it didn't drop anything of importance. It actually dropped nothing at all. But while we're up here, we might as well cut down all of the trees. We still have a ways to go to get level 10 foraging. We need 5,000 XP in total. So it was into the secret woods. We're going to eradicate all of these tree stumps. We're going to pick up all of the forageables here as well. And believe it or not, it's not going to take us that long to get level 10. There's still lots of trees around the place. But once we get the huge tree farm up and running on the quarry, that should seal the deal for us, and that will be foraging done and dusted. Now, we need a lot of stone to make a lot of tree fertilizer. Thankfully, all of the runs to the volcano dungeon have sorted that problem. We have stacks upon stacks of stone, we've got tons of coal, you can get so much coal in the volcano dungeon. We decided to do the trout derby today and collect as many golden tags as possible. Now, if I had challenge bait, I would be using that, because if you get a perfect catch on a rainbow trout, it's pretty easy to get a perfect catch on them. You'll be putting up 3 rainbow trout at once. Chances are you'll be getting a golden tag every time you get a golden trout catch. The great thing about this event is that you can cycle through the rewards over and over again. You don't just get, the 5 or 10 rewards that he has and that's it. As long as you have golden tags, you can cycle through those rewards. So I ended up getting 4 triple shot espressos today, which was nice. But the rest of the day, we're just cutting down trees. And that's the end of another Let's Play. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great week. Hello everybody, this is GamerGar. Welcome back to another episode of the Riverlands Challenge. We are now entering the final week of summer, and what a week this is going to be. You're going to see some major progression this week. The first thing we're going to do is go to Clint, pick up our copper hoe. Now we're going to keep giving that back to Clint until it's fully upgraded to an iridium hoe. If we want to plant crops in the meantime, we'll have to get creative with bombs. Speaking of crops, we're going to head on over to Ginger Island and we are going to water up our melons. The reason why we have so many melons over here is because we want to use these to get farming level 10. We also want to harvest all those melons to get some more golden walnuts to get into Key's secret walnut room. Now we're going to spend 50 cinder shards here and get the deluxe retaining soil. It's actually quite cheap to make. You just need some stone, fibre and clay, and you can get mountains of clay over at the dig site on Ginger Island almost every single day. So it's going to be quite easy to make hundreds of this eventually and just plant it all over the place. Now we still need to max out foraging, combat and farming. It's worth noting too that the cave Professor Snail was trapped in, that's a good place to get foraging every couple of days. Going over here to the dig site will allow us to get even more clay to make more deluxe retaining soil. Because the less crops we have to water, the more time we have leveling up our other professions. The big goal of this week is to get into Key's secret walnut room and to capture all of the legendary fish. If we want to capture all of the legendary fish, we will need magic bait. For that, we will need key gems, so we'll have to start completing key quests as quickly as possible. Another level up in farming, that was nice, 7 levels to go. The next day we picked up the Stardew Valley Almanac. It's basically a skill book that gives 250 XP to farming from killing those lava lurkers. Those lava lurkers also have a chance to drop dragon's teeth. We need those to put enchants on our lovely dragon tooth weapons. So the more dragon's teeth we can get, the better. Now we haven't got any decent rings out of the volcano dungeon chests just yet. We picked up a protection ring there, but that pales in comparison to a lot of the other stuff you can get. Now I did pick up a new weapon in the elite chest on floor number 9. This was the dwarf hammer. So there's 2 types of special weapons you can get in the volcano dungeon. You can get the dragon tooth stuff and the dwarven stuff. Dragon tooth stuff basically has, crit power on it, where the dwarf stuff is kind of more defense orientated. So a lot of it comes down to your playstyle. For the rest of the day, we're going to pull up some lava eels here because we're getting a little bit low on money, and I want a lot more money now to get a lot of the goodies, a lot of the endgame items. Lava eels are a great way to close the gap for that before we start doing some legendary fishing. Another easy 5 golden walnuts here. We already had the emerald, we just picked up the amethyst there, so we just had to guess what was going to go into the last 2 pedestals. First attempt, we were successful. So nice to get those golden walnuts. We now had enough golden walnuts to finally get the warp obelisk back to the farm. Now we don't have a real good way right now to quickly warp back to Ginger Island. We do have to rely on Willie's boat, but sometimes in the volcano dungeon you can get warp totems to Ginger Island if you're really lucky. So if we do get those, we will treasure them and use them wisely. Now one of the challenges I'm trying to complete is to basically fill up the Riverlands Farm with fish ponds, nothing else, and put legend 2s into every single one. A lot of that is going to come down to how lucky we get with Key's quests. The more times we get the extended family quest, the more opportunities we will have to fish up the legend 2. So we just got another tool upgrade there from Clint. We're now making 3 fertilizers, and we are going to basically fertilize the entire area of the quarry, and this is going to ensure that over the next few days we will finally max out foraging. All of the wood that we get, we're going to put it to great use. Eventually we can turn that wood into coal, We can then use the wood and the coal, and we can start making a lot more preserve jars, because we're going to have so many fish ponds eventually. It's going to be a no-brainer to focus a lot on mass production of preserve jars, so we can get even more money for selling all that raw. From fighting these haunted skulls, we picked up a ruby ring and the cursed mannequin. We will equip the ruby ring for now. It does increase our attack power by 10%. We finally maxed out combat. That was the final level up we needed to get another amazing perk. Now eventually we will respec combat, and we are going to move towards the critical hit build, because in my opinion it is far superior than the damage percentage build. We'll take brute for now, deals 15% more damage, and we just picked up the ruby ring too, so that's a 25 increase in attack power now over the space of a day. Because the melons are fully grown, we're going to talk to the frog to get 5 golden walnuts. He's going to give us 5 more for the wheat as well. Now we don't have any garlic on the farm, so he won't give us the final 5, but once we do get our hands on garlic eventually, hopefully this year, he will give us another 5 golden walnuts. We're also going to get 5 additional golden walnuts for farming up all these melons. You can get 5 golden walnuts from farming. Now, as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I don't think you can get golden walnuts for farming regrowable crops. You only get them for farming the one-off crops, like melons and starfruit and things like that. So we're making our way there. We also get access to Key's secret walnut room. We're going to select Danger in the Deep because it just gives more key gems, and our character is spec'd fairly well now for endgame combat. But before we go down there, we're going to put some aquamarines into our Dragontooth Cutlass, increasing its critical strike chance. We're also going to put a prismatic shard into it as well. Now I was hoping for the Crusader enchant, but I got the vampiric enchant instead. You know what? It's a nice enchant. It will give health back occasionally upon defeating enemies. There's still a lot we can do to perfect our combat build. We have a ruby ring and a protection ring right now, but there's so much better rings you get in the game, and we can combine 2 rings together. So cinder shards are still on the priority list, of course, and hopefully over the next few days we can get rings that are far superior to the rings that we have currently equipped at the moment. Now we did get to level 5 again in the volcano dungeon. We will purchase the ginger ale recipe, because you can never beat something that gives a luck buff, especially for future Scott Cameron runs if you want to go for the deep dive. When we got to floor 9, we got to the elite chest here. We only got a few cinder shards out of that. I was hoping for something much more potent, such as a phoenix ring, a hot jabber ring, maybe even some dragon scale boots, but alas, it wasn't meant to be today. We are now going to do some preparation here for the hardened versions of the mines. We're going to make some staircases, we're going to get some buff food, we're going to go to the Adventurers Guild. We might as well pick up the Mappy Cave systems, just in case the mines doesn't go the way we want it to. A 50% discount on Marinette's item recovery service. And we also had enough resources to make 1 iridium band. Now look, the iridium band isn't the best ring in the game, but it is probably one of the greatest utility rings you can get, because it gives us a little bit of light, a little bit of an attack power boost, and it gives us magnetism. And all that will come in very handy when it comes to traversing this cave. Now we got extremely lucky today with this cave. We came across an absolute ton of radioactive ore, and once we get 50 key gems for completing this quest from getting down to floor 120, we can pick up the recipe to make magic bait. Now you can also buy magic bait as well, but if we get the recipe we can make as much of it as we want. All we need is radioactive ore and bug meat, and we can make as much magic bait as we want. And because we're doing the hardened versions of the mines now, we can toggle on and off the hardened versions once we make it down to floor 120, so we'll never run out of radioactive ore. Now we didn't get too far in the mines today because it was late. Before the day finished, I went down here to the Statue of Uncertainty, and we're going to switch up the combat perks. We're going to go with the critical strike build instead. With the remaining of time we had left today, I picked up the Dark Talisman. We also got farming level 5. For now, we just take tiller. Crops were 10% more. We can also make quality sprinklers, thank God, so we can now automate the watering process. For combat, we're going to take Scout, increased critical strike chance, and Desperado. Critical strikes are deadlier. With our new farming skill, we're going to make some preserve jars. This is going to dramatically increase the profit we make from selling raw. It's then a nice walk up to Robin's. She is going to make us another fish pond, and that trend will continue until the very end of the challenge. It was back to Clint to get back our gold hoe. We're going to hand that straight back into Clint to upgrade it to an iridium hoe. Then it is time to go to Pierre. We're going to purchase 500 melon seeds from Pierre. This should be enough to max out our farming skill. Once the farming skill is maxed out, we can then build up mastery levels head into the Mastery Cave and unlock the Fishing Mastery. We took a stroll over to the desert as well. We spoke to Sandy. Because it's Thursday, she's selling deluxe speed grow. It's only 80 gold a pop here. Pierre just rips you off so bad. So we're going to purchase as much of this as possible, and we'll bring that over to Ginger Island later to make the melons grow way faster. But for now, we need to focus a little bit more on making some progression here in the hardened versions of the mines. As we make our way down, we're getting lots of radioactive ore, which is nice. We just picked up an aquamarine ring there as well. We're killing one of those floaty skulls. We're now going to take a trip up to the volcano. We're going to merge together an iridium band and the ruby ring. This is going to free up a ring slot for us. For now, we're just going to put the aquamarine into that ring slot. It increases our chance to get a critical hit, and we're all about critical hits right now. If we crit absolutely anything, it's going to die straight away. Now we can increase our critical strike chance further by equipping another aquamarine ring. So if we do find one of those, we can merge it up with the ruby ring, and then the other aquamarine can be merged up with the iridium band, and that'll make for a pretty nice ring setup. All we need now is just higher defense from the boots. Now those ghosts, those green ghosts, are absolutely terrible to deal with. They give a very nasty debuff. For a good few in-game hours, you cannot take food items, so you can't heal. Fortunately, the vampiric enchant that we use can bypass that, so there is a chance that we can heal back up if our health gets low. So it's not the end of the world if we get hit with that debuff. Now I spammed staircases to get past those levels, not only to speed up progression, but also because I didn't want to have to deal with that ghost. Now I have to say, fighting with this combat build is so fun. Every time I get a big crit, I just get huge levels of satisfaction. And this build has the potential to wipe out rooms stacked up to the top with enemies very quickly. It all comes down to how much you crit. And even if you don't crit, because there's really good enchants stacked on this weapon, his base damage is quite high. Another day, another adventure in the hardened versions of the mines. We start by taking our lovely magic rock candy. Now we only have one, so we're going to use it to the best of our abilities. The goal today is simple: reach floor 120, get those key gems, and then get some magic bait and start pulling off some legendary fish. So there's a lot we need to do before we get into fall. Now I get really lucky today. I end up getting another iridium band drop off an enemy, and it's so rare to get those. What I was really hoping for by doing the hardened versions of the mines was a very unique weapon known as an iridium needle. It has an absolutely insane crit damage stat, so if we do pick up that weapon, I would consider using that over the dragon tooth cutlass. And the cutlass is nice because it still crits very hard, and it's a sword, not a dagger, so you can hit a lot of enemies at once with it. But we'll see anyway what we end up with. If we do get the dagger, we'll experiment a little bit with it. Dagger is probably one of the best weapons in the game because of its high crit damage potential. So we made it down to floor 120. We got 50 key gems as a reward. Now there's still a good few hours left in the day, so we are going to make the most of it. We're going to visit the quarry. We're going to cut down all of the trees that have grown so far, because we're almost there now to level 10 foraging. It would be nice to max it out before we get into fall. We're down to the secret woods as well. We're hitting up all the stumps here. The next day starts with a collection of legendary raw. We are going to put all of this into the preserve bins. We're then going to go to Clint. We're going to pick up our iridium hoe. Now that's going to be it for a while when it comes to tool upgrades. We will give him the pan eventually to upgrade that. We are going to purchase the recipe for magic bait. We do have the resources to make tons of that. For the rest of the key gems, we're just going to purchase magic bait itself. And the reason why I'm doing this is because not only do I want to put up all of the legendary fish, I want to put up every fish in the game, and it would be nice to get that done by fall and not having to worry about that when we get into winter. So we're now going to take on the glacier fish. In my opinion, this is the hardest fish to capture in the game. Now, this was the second attempt to grab this thing, and we managed to get it. It just spurts all over the place. I do think that the legend is a little bit easier to get. Once the glacier fish was caught, we headed up then to get the angler fish. Now, this fish pales in comparison to the rest of the legendary fish in the game. It still counts as a legendary fish, but it's just so easy to pull up. I did have fish ponds built for these, so we're going to fill up our fish ponds with all legendary fish. We're now hoping that tomorrow, when Key gets his new set of quests, one of them will be extended family. So let's cross our fingers and let's hope that's going to be the case. We just picked up a prismatic shard with green slime in the secret woods. That's what I love about this game. You never know what you're going to get from roaming around the place. For the rest of the day, we're just going to cut down trees. I was absolutely determined to max out foraging before the next day came. And we ended up doing that today. Once all of the trees were wiped out in Splinter Snap Forest, I headed up to the quarry, and to my surprise, the tree fertilizer did its job and all of these trees could be cut down. And we're going to cut down every single one of these trees. Absolutely. So we ended up getting foraging level 10 today. I was very happy about this. The only skill that's left to max out now is farming. Once we have that done, we can start getting mastery levels, and it's going to be very exciting, especially when we get our hands on that advanced iridium rod. You're going to start seeing some serious money that I'm going to show you just how overpowered fishing can actually be. So this is the end of another Stardew Valley video. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one.